Guys, and welcome back to another video, and today's video is the Game Week 17 review and of course the blank Game Week 18 preview where we look what to do for the upcoming game week. Yes, it was a particularly poor game week this week. 48 points. It was going well up until the Southampton-Liverpool game. Two of my players didn't even pick up any points because one of them got COVID, one of them was fatigued. Sada 2, Robertson 1, 3 points from 4 players, that is pretty bad. Bamford didn't do anything, neither did Dallas. Reguilon didn't even play. Calvert Lewin did nothing. It was literally Son, Grealish and Fernandes. That's consistently been getting me points over the past few weeks. Of course, Son didn't play in Game Week 16, but before that, as you can see there, Grealish got me 3, Son got me 4 at least. Grealish 10 there, Son 9, Grealish 5. So if you, as you can sort of tell, there's a general more points from Son and Grealish and of course Fernandes than any other players in my team. But yeah, so it wasn't a very good game week. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go on with the video because you don't want to see this. Well, you do probably, but it's not very good. Didn't get the average. But anyway, let's move on to what are the possible options to do chips wise for the blank game week. Oh yeah, and before we go on to chips, these are teams who have a double game week in game week 19, so after blank game week 18, but also play in blank game week 18. So those 4 teams there, if you don't want to use any chips at all, it'd be good to have players from those teams because it would benefit you a lot because they play in both game weeks. And here are all the teams that play in blank game week 18. So the teams on the left are the home teams, and obviously the teams on the right are the away teams. So we've got Sheffield United versus Newcastle, Burnley versus Man Utd, Wolves versus Everton, Man City versus Brighton, Aston Villa versus Spurs, and Arsenal versus Palace. So as you can see, only 12 teams play in blank game week 18, which means 8 teams don't play. And those 8 teams that don't play will have a double game week in game week 19, and obviously the 4 I previously stated. So let's go through the fixtures and I'll list some of the good options. Well, what I personally think are good options. So Sheffield United versus Newcastle, I'd say Callum Wilson for Newcastle, maybe Almiron if you want, Joelinton, maybe Darlow as keeper or Dubravka. Burnley versus Man United, Fernandes, Rashford, maybe even Nick Pope in goal because he could make a lot of saves. Wolves versus Everton, Fabio, Silva, Neto, Podence for Wolves. Everton, Calvert, Lewin, Richarlison, maybe even Mina from a set piece. Man City versus Brighton, I'd say De Bruyne, Sterling, maybe Cancelo and Diaz at the back. Players like that. Brighton, maybe Maupay. Then Aston Villa versus Spurs. Aston Villa, Grealish, Gazi, Watkins, Mcginn even looks a very good player. And then Spurs, you've got Kane, Son, and then of course Arsenal, Palace. So you've probably got for Arsenal Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Tierney, Lacazette, Aubameyang, lots of good options, and then Palace probably Zaha and Eze looks like a good shout as well. And I'll put all of those in the description below if you want to have a read through them. And if you're looking to use any of your chips for game week 18, you're probably thinking free hit or wild card. Which one do I use? So let's go through the 2 options. So the first option is the wild card, and the wild card basically means you have permanent transfers. So the pros of the wildcard is you can pick 15 players, 11 starting, 4 on the bench, who play in the blank game week 18. But do note, the players that you pick will be permanent transfers and will remain in your team post blank game week 18 because wildcard has permanent transfers. So they'll be in your team for the double game week 19 and so on until you take them out with another chip in the future or transfers or whatever you want to do. But there are some cons to this. Because the transfers are permanent, the players you picked most likely don't have a double game week in game week 19 unless they're one of those 4 teams. So that could possibly give you a disadvantage in the following game week. And there may be players you chose in your wildcard team that you don't want to bring in permanently. So players that you might think are good for the next couple of weeks or the blank game week, but you don't see them having them for the foreseeable future and may take a couple of transfers to sort and bring them out and bring other players in. And option 2, so it's the free hit. The free hit is permanent transfers for 1 game week, but then you revert back to your old team for the following game week. So pros is you can bring in 15 players, of course the 11 who start and the 4 on the bench, who play in blank game week 18 without them being permanently in your team for the upcoming game week. So if you don't want them, it's not a problem because you revert back to your old team for the next game week. This means you can keep any players who are currently in your team that play twice in Game Week 19, so double Game Week 19 players, or players that you want to keep permanently that you don't want to take out, because if you use the wild card, of course, you've got to take them out. But with the free hit, they're only out for one game week, which is good. So there are 2 pages of cons for the free hit, but don't think that's bad. It's just because it takes a lot to explain. So basically, there may be another opportunity where the free hit could come in handy, like last day of the season, because players could be going for records, like the Golden Boot, for example. So you would want to bring in players going for individual awards, like who, if they're trying to win the Golden Boot, they're gonna try and get into more attacking positions, and also might put in a bit of extra effort if it's the final day of the season, or manager might play them for the full 90 when they might not usually. Or there might be teams who have nothing to play for, so they're mid-table, not going for Europe, not getting relegated, they're safe, or guaranteed top 4, or guaranteed whatever. Or they're fighting to stay up and not get relegated, so they're battling around the relegation zone. Or like Bournemouth last season, they did get relegated, but they picked up good wins against Leicester and a few other teams on the final few games of the season because they were really determined to not go down. Sadly, they're in Championship at the moment, but they could come up, which they look like because they got good players. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this season's FPL. So, or they could be even going for a title. It looks like it could be a close run in this season. Players trying to extra bit further to win the title for their team. So do take all of this into account before you activate your free hit chip. Same applies for the wildcard also. But why would you use a wildcard in the last game of the season? There's not much point, but just take all this into account before you use any. So guys, this is what I decided to do. I decided to take the free hit. So basically, for free hit, I've got, I think it is, if I go back to my original team, which this week was obviously, as you saw, I won a measly 48 points. I play in double game week 19, so McCarthy, if he's back from COVID, will have 2 fixtures then. Shea Adams, 2 fixtures then. Bamford, 2 fixtures then. Calvert don't have 1. Salah, 2 fixtures then. Son, 1 fixture. Bruno Fernandes, 2 fixtures. Grealish, 2 fixtures. Robertson, of course, 2 fixtures as well. Dallas, 2 fixtures. And Reguilon, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so 8 out of my 11 will have a double game week unless I make any changes to the other players. They'll have double game weeks as well. So I thought to myself, this would be my free hit team. So I'll have Kane and Wilson up top. Thought I'd go have one of the Tottenham boys, and I thought I'll have Rashford in the midfield, so I'll have Kane up top. Callum Wilson scores ridiculous amount of Newcastle's goals. Sheffield United away, weak team at the moment. Saka and Martinelli, these are more my differential options, because Arsenal watched them against West Brom. I know it's West Brom, but they played well. Saka 9.7, he's owned by a few more players now, but look, Crystal Palace at home, and Martinelli, who's even lower in 0.8%. And you might think, oh, well look, last game 0 points. And look, he hasn't really registered a single point this season, but he played 65 against Brighton, so I kind of think he's going to start in the double game week. So, the blank game week. So he could start that week, and also he's looked quite good. So maybe he could get a goal or assist or something for the team, and he's a differential option. Of course, Bruno Fernandes, you kind of got to have in there. As much as I don't want Man United to win against Burnley, he'll probably score or do something. Rashford, is Rashford or Son? I thought their fixture, Man United looks better than Kane, so it'd probably be easier and better option to have in. De Bruyne, Brighton. I think Brighton are going to get relegated. I just don't see Brighton can see too many goals, and I don't know. I just didn't see them staying up this season. And then I thought, what Man City asset is guaranteed to start? Well, not guaranteed, but pretty much guaranteed is Kevin De Bruyne or Raheem Sterling. But they're 2 main ones. Cancelo, he's starting more and more games this season. He looks like a really good player, to be fair. Thought I have him as well. And then Ruben Diaz, and then of course Tierney. He's 9.7%, but look how many points he got against West Brom. 18 is ridiculous. Look, 6, 4, and 18. So he's got 28 points in his last 3 appearances, which is very good, especially for an Arsenal defender. Arsenal won the last 3 games. Dubravka or Darlow. I was thinking, well, Darlow will probably be better to have because he's Newcastle's main keeper, but because Dubravka's just come back from injury, I wasn't too sure if they were going to rotate, so I thought I'd have both, and then one of them's going to start, obviously. So now we'll see what happens there. Fabio Silva, Wolves, he seems to play a lot for Wolves, 1.2% owned, and I thought Kane or Wilson. One of them may not play. They may pick up a knock. Something might happen. I know they're like key men for their sides, but you never know. Target is just because I thought with Pep's rotation, Diaz and Cancelo, one of them might not start. I reckon one of them will. Diaz probably will. Cancelo less likely to start, but still more likely than a lot of the Man City back line. So I thought target plays every game for Aston Villa can be chucked in. So that's for what I'll do. Free hit for the blank game week 18, and then I can have, what was it, 8 players, and then any other substitutes I make for game week 19. So 8 players I have in game week 19. I have a double game week. I might triple captain that week as well. We'll see how it goes. But that is what I'm going to do for blank game week 18.